Good evening, Hawks fans, and welcome back to the Atlanta Sports District. I'm your host, Russell Spence, coming to you directly after a 108 to 105 loss to the New York Knicks. To start off, I will say I am displaced from my usual recording space. I have my microphone in my hand because I am get some family visiting and things like that for the Easter holiday. So if you're wondering what's going on, that's why maybe the sound's a little different. That's why maybe the picture's a little different. I'm not in my usual location. With that being said, there's also some uh, logistical things we have to cover. First of all, the Hawks have waived and released Caleb Houston and signed Tony Bradley. That will be important when we start talking about the game tonight. They made this decision because Jock Landale is injured and is probably not going to be back for the playoffs, it seems. I mean, that was a really bad ankle roll. And so they're looking for just some more big man depth that's not named Christian Koloko. Quite honestly, Tony Bradley was awful in this game. Was played like, let's see here, 4 minutes and was immediately yanked. And so I don't know if that's going to help. I'll be honest, but it was rough showing from Tony Bradley tonight. Um, we're gonna get into the key statistics, but the first thing I wanted to talk about was this was a truly valiant effort from the Atlanta Hawks tonight. We worked our butt off. We gave it everything we had. It was a playoff game type atmosphere, and they completely and totally locked in a way you would love to see them do when the playoffs actually come. To me, I look and say, we don't know how they're going to react, right? This team has not seen playoff basketball. But a lot of people stepped up to the plate and played well, and some people did not. They fell to the level that you would expect for a person that's never played in a playoff type atmosphere to fall to, and that hurts. But there was not a single player that did not give it their all in terms of effort, that was not locked in mentally, that was not understanding the brevity of what is going on the court. And because of that, we had a very close, good showing, a great defensive showing tonight. Just an overall very, very good game that gave us a shot to beat one of the best teams in basketball in a playoff type atmosphere. And we had multiple shots in the air that could have really changed the outcome of this game, and we just missed them. And they say that the NBA is a make or miss league for a reason, but you can't really be mad about that. You can say, I wish that so and so had played better. I wish that so and so had played better. And we'll talk about those things. But at the end of the day, we took the punches and we didn't fall down. Right? This is a boxing match that went all 15 rounds, and the Knicks won by points, and it wasn't a unanimous decision. So I think that that's a wonderful thing to see, and I don't want to see the Knicks in the playoffs. I want to see the Cavs. I think that we match up better with the Cavs. But if we do play them in the playoffs, it is a great proponent to say like we can compete with them at this kind of intensity level. That's pretty special for a team that, as of a month and a half ago, was like a 98% chance to fire their coach. I mean, that's amazing to me that we've made this kind of turnaround this fast, and a lot of it comes from the defense that we're playing. It's the defense was fantastic tonight. For the majority of the game, the first quarter's defense was kind of bad, but if we had come out of the gate with the defensive intensity we had in the second, third, and fourth quarter, we win the game. But at the with at the outset, it wasn't as great as we would want it to. But again, you take the aggregate of the 48 minutes, and the aggregate of the 48 minutes was fantastic defensively. Only gave up 108 points to a team that they literally all they do is run and try to play offense. I mean, they're a good defensive team, But their whole thing is they're going to run, they're going to run, they're going to score, and they're going to run, they're going to score. And then when they get done, they're going to run and score some more. And we held them 108. That's pretty special. So now moving to the key statistics. The Hawks lost the field goal percentage battle 50-40. But we won the 3-point percentage battle 33-38. So I think that's kind of a wash. We won the 3-point field goal percentage battle. They won pretty heavily the 2-point percentage battle, which means that they won the rim frequency and rim percentage statistic. That is also a key statistic, right? So chalk that up 1-1. We got the threes and they got the twos, and that keeps it close, right? You move to free throw creation. 17 free throws created with 13 makes for us, and 17 free throws created with 13 makes for them. It's the exact same. So mark it for both of us. Now we're both at 2. Rebounds. We had 48 rebounds, and they had 47. That's a tie. Mark it down for both of us. 3-3. But one problem. We did win the offensive rebound battle significantly. 12 rebounds offensively for them to our 19. That is very helpful when you're getting berated at the rim in the way that we were. We're going to talk about kind of the reasons why that was happening. But when that's the case, getting those offensive rebounds, giving you extra opportunities to shoot your longer shots and make them is very, very helpful. And that is what kept us in this game. So give us that point. Now we're ahead 4-3, right? Creativity stats, assists, and turnover creation. They had 29 assists to our 23. The offense simply was not good enough. Did not move the ball well enough. So give that to them. That's 4-4. Steals and blocks, they had 9 steals and 7 blocks. We had 7 steals and 4 blocks. They beat us there, 5-4, and total team turnovers. They had 17 total team turnovers to our 15. Give us that. We are tied at 5. So when you look at that, what I say is, okay, again, that is the team that is really, second in the conference, is third in the conference all year long. They have proven to be a consistently very good basketball team. And we were basically tit for tat in every single stat. And if you just took them at face value, we tied 5-5 in key statistic breakdown. That says this game should have ended 105-105. Just one person made a shot at the end that another person didn't make. It's a make or miss league, and they made, and we missed. And that, I can handle that. I can take that. If they had come in and just kicked our teeth in and we just laid down and died, I couldn't have taken that. I would have come on here and have been really mad. But no, we fought, and we fought, and we fought, and we fought, and the ball just didn't bounce right tonight one time. And that's going to happen. And that's why the game of basketball is random. It's not as random as something like baseball, but it's still random. And so I'm very pleased with the effort. And it gives me a lot of hope for the playoffs. I'm actually, really intrigued at how this team will play in the playoffs. And every time they come to a challenge, that's the thing I'm thinking about. I'm going, I think this team could scare somebody in the playoffs, maybe take a playoff series. Because all it takes is 4 games of us getting the right bounce and them not getting the right bounce, and you win a series. That's all it would take. And we can compete with these big dogs, even with certain players not playing well tonight. I mean, we had some stinkers from people. And so I'm looking going, okay, let's say, we had kind of 3 or 4 players not play very well. Let's say they return to their mean. Let's say they play better than not play very well. We might have a real, actual, huge opportunity to make some noise. If that happens, we could blow somebody out because, again, you start seeing those players play better, then you start winning more of these key statistics. And these key statistics help you create more possessions and make more shots. And then you start running a team out of the gym, right? And so, yeah, I'm actually happy after a loss. It's a weird feeling. Usually I'm not very happy after a loss, but I have no qualms with the way we played tonight. I understand that I mean maybe if somebody had played better we get a win tonight, but you can't get everything. You're going to lose games in the NBA. But if you can compete like this every night, oh, you're going to be golden because not many teams will compete like this every single night. So let's be that team because that's the teams that are contenders, are the ones who compete like this, play this hard every single night. Now, moving to the player by player. We're going to start with Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley played 4 minutes. He was 0 of 2 from the field with 2 rebounds, 1 turnover, and a foul, and was -2. He was, I mean, it was ugly. Ugly isn't even a good word to describe it. It looked like he'd never picked up a basketball before. That's what my family said. They literally said, like, has that guy ever like touched a basketball? I said, yeah, he's actually a veteran. He's been in the league for a long time. I don't know what's going on, but it was bad. I don't know if he's going to play ever again. He might get cut tonight. Like that's how bad it was. But we do need the body. We do need a bigger body. But I just think that we can have such a um, difficult time if they throw big centers at us in really at all. I mean, it's hard for Onyeka. It's hard for Mo. It's not really their thing is to stop these giant centers like tonight. They have Mitchell Robinson who really took the game over for portions of time because we just could not box him out. He's just so huge. And even I mean Mo is huge. He's 7 foot tall and is big and strong, but he's not Mitchell Robinson been big and strong. Like Mitchell Robinson is built like a tree trunk, but he's also 7'1". And so he just pushes you around, and that was really difficult. And so maybe Tony Bradley could help with that, but if he continues to look as bad as he did, you can't keep him on the floor. And so that's what happened tonight. Moving on, we're going to also talk about Mo Gay right now. So Mo is one of my favorite players in the whole NBA, but I can also admit when he didn't play very well, right? He didn't have a very good game. He played 8 minutes. He had 0 points on 0 of 1 shooting. He had 1 rebound. He didn't record a steal, but did have a block, and was -11. He caused a couple of turnovers. The defense was good. He was always in the right place. He was doing his athletic stuff. He was switching very well. He was communicating very well. But then they would shoot the ball, and then Mitchell Robinson would get the rebound, and then they would put it in because he was 2 feet from the basket, and Mo couldn't do anything about it, and no one else was coming to help rebound, which is another thing we'll talk about. But when you have a guy like Mitchell Robinson, if you don't have another dude to box him out, if you don't have like a Andre Drummond or something like that to box him out, then you have to box him out with 5 people. Like every single person who can put a arm or an elbow or a shoulder or a hip into Mitchell Robinson has to do so. And tonight we left our backup centers and our starting center out to dry against Mitchell Robinson and Cat. Less so against Cat because Cat plays much softer than Mitchell Robinson, but we desperately needed more team rebounding against that guy. And it very negatively affected Mo's game. Moving on, we'll talk about Zachary Chassé. So Zach played 7 minutes. He needs to play more. Bar none. He needs to play more. He had 3 points on 1 of 4 shooting, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, finished -6. A lot of his issue was, again, not being a part of team rebounding, but I thought he helped the offense flow. I thought his defense was very good. We just needed to make the adjustment of saying, hey, 6'11 guy, go help the 7-foot guy against the ginormous 7'1 guy. If he had done that, I think they probably win those minutes because they don't get any of those second chance points that they were getting that were very significant in the outcome of this game. Those second chance points, if you box him out twice, we win. If they have 4 less points off of those putbacks, just have to box them out 2 times, we win this game. And so that's an adjustment that has to be made. We have to, because we don't have the personnel. We've built our team to be a little bit smaller, a little more switchable, agile, and I like that. But when that happens and you come up against, Samson from the Bible, that's what he looks like. You go, okay, you gotta, we're gonna have to box him out with all 5 dudes, and we just did not do that. And Zach, I thought, was pretty poor in that regard. I mean, I don't know if he's ever seen or played against guys like that often enough to kind of realize it. But yeah, I mean, any chip you can put in that guy, like a tight end chip and a defensive end, you got to do it. You got to go help. Moving on, we're going to talk about Gabe Vincent. So Gabe played 10 minutes. He had no points on 0 of 1 shooting. He had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers, no steals, no blocks. Finished a net 0. Solid. He was just solid. He didn't try to do too much, but he did help us keep the bench going in the right direction. That's all you need from your backup point guard. Let's just go in the right direction, guys. Let's just not go negative. And he's been doing that. He's been playing very well. I thought he was very good tonight. Very solid play. And again, I would be playing him in the playoffs because you need solid in the playoffs. Moving on, we're going to talk about Jonathan Kuminga. So Kuminga played 22 minutes. He had 5 points on 2 of 6 shooting, 0 of 4 from 3. He had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and finished -2. I thought Kuminga played okay defensively. I thought offensively he was quite poor, and I thought that his helpfulness in rebounding was not very helpful. I think he got a lot of rebounds for himself. He ran and jumped and got the rebound when it came down to him in his area and he outjumped the guy. But when it came to like, oh, I'm looking over there and Onyeka is getting pinned under the rim and Cat's getting the offensive rebound, I should go help him. That did not happen at all. And so the rebounding numbers don't tell the whole story there. He also has to go help. Every single one of our players has to go help. The only player, I'm just going to go ahead and say, every single player right now, so I don't have to keep repeating it. Every single player not named Dyson Daniels. Now, Dyson helped a lot, but every single player not named Dyson Daniels did not help Jalen, Onyeka, or Mo tonight to box out this very difficult to box out front line of the New York Knicks. Now, Dyson, he was throwing elbows, he was getting in there, he was getting nitty gritty, and it shows in his rebound total because he had a lot. And so that we'll talk about Dyson now. Moving to the starters, we have Dyson Daniels with 38 minutes, 11 points on 4 of 11 shooting. He was 1 of 3 from 3 again, which is good to see him make a 3. But he had 12 rebounds, 3 assists with 1 turnover, 2 steals, and finished +1. He was mixing it up in there. He was throwing elbows. He was making razor blades. He was putting a hip in somebody. He was throwing a shoulder if he could. He was pushing somebody underneath the rim if he could. Whatever he could do to help the rebounding battle win, he did. And when he was on the floor, the rebounding was better. When he was on the floor, i.e., every minute Moge played as well, which I felt bad for him about, the rebounding was not in our favor when that happened. And so I hope that other players draw some understanding of what needs to be done in terms of physicality with the opponents that have these big centers. And again, Cleveland has these big centers. They've got Mobley, they've got Allen. If you do not box them out, they will kill you. So let's take this as a learning lesson moving forward that whether we play the Knicks, whether we play the Cavs, whether we play even Boston with Vucevic and Garza and all those guys that are huge, if you are looking at this team every single night, we have to have every single player have their fingerprints all over the rebounding battle. They have to continually just displace players, take them from one spot on the floor and move them to another so that your team can get the rebound. That's simple. But Dyson did that tonight, so kudos on him because he's the only player in our whole rotation who helped the the depth and the big men on our team to rebound. Moving on, we'll talk about Onyeka Okongwu. So I thought Onyeka had a kind of hot and cold game. He had 12 points on 4 of 13 shooting, cold. 2 of 7 from 3. He had 8 rebounds and 1 assist. The 8 rebounds were honestly hard fought for, and I thought he did as good a job as you could have possibly asked him to do in the scenario that he was given. He had 1 assist and 2 turnovers, cold again. But the defense was very good. He affected a lot of stuff, had a steal and a block, and finished plus 10 in the game. I definitely think that he had more positive impact than negative impact because the defense was very good for the majority of the night. But I also think that he really struggles to guard the size of this team and to box out the size of this team and to score on the size of this team. And that showed tonight. He desperately needs to improve his ball handling. And quite honestly, he has to get taller, which he cannot control. And so I worry that he can't be a long-term option if this doesn't seem this problem that we have to seem to have against every single big center in the NBA. I worry that that will never be remedied as long as Onyeka is our starting center. And maybe we can draft like an Ade Mara or something like that. It's huge in the draft. And if we play against these guys, we can just put him in. He's very good, and he'll box out, and we'll be fine. But I am just saying, as long as Onyeka is the guy, that becomes very, very difficult. Now, moving on, we'll talk about CJ McCollum. CJ played 35 minutes. He had 17 points on 7 of 19 shooting. Yikes. He was 3 of 8 from 3. He had 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and was -4. So when you play the kind of defensive game that CJ did today, 2 steals, 2 blocks, created 4 stocks, scored at a decent clip. Not at a decent efficiency, but at a decent clip. You had a good assist number when you weren't the primary ball handler, but you had a good number. And you only have 3 rebounds. How were you -4? Well, it's because you only had 3 rebounds. And every time that they were shooting the ball, you weren't helping rebound. And we were getting battered on that offensive glass. And again, that made a huge difference in tonight's game. If he had helped, if he had gone and thrown some razor blades, his elbows, that to me is what could have pushed the game over the top. And that's the same thing for him. That's the same thing for Nall. That's the same thing for Zach, for Kuminga, for Gabe, any of those guys. Get in there and help against those big guys. And I thought that CJ was kind of egregiously not helping in terms of the rebounding battle tonight. Moving on, second to last, we're going to talk about Jalen Johnson. So Jalen played 41 minutes. He had 21 points on 8 of 19 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3, 11 rebounds, 5 assists with 5 turnovers. It's not a great assist-turnover ratio, but did have 1 steal and finished +3. Jalen gave it his all. He played a huge amount of minutes. He played extremely hard. The defense was good. He was locked in. He made a couple of huge plays late that, if we had won, would have been the reason why. As I said, we had a couple of things just not fall our way at the end of the game. But I think we could have put a better showing on the floor if we had rebounded better, and we would have won, and the entire world would have been put on notice about how great Jalen Johnson is. I know they already know, but I'm talking about really understanding how truly wonderful this player is. Moving on, lastly, we're going to talk about Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He played 39 minutes. He had 36 points on 12 of 19 shooting. That's 2 away from perfect efficiency. 7 of 11 from 3. You know what they say about 7-11? He's always open. He had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 block, and finished -4. Gonna say it again. How do you have the kind of defensive impact that he had? Scored 36 on almost perfect efficiency, 2 points away from perfect efficiency. And you're -4. How do you do that? You didn't help rebound at all. tonight. I thought it was a great showing from Null. I thought offensively he was truly upper level, outstanding. I thought he did not help in the rebounding battle one bit. He did not get in there. He did not, box anybody out. He did not help with the big men. He watched the ball get shot. He watched the ball fly. He watched it hit the rim. He watched it fly off the rim, and he watched a Knicks player grab it and lay it in. And that's just not an acceptable thing to happen in terms of rebounding, and I think that will be something that's remedied. I do. I think Quinn will look at the tape and go, "Oh my lord, we have got to do better from our total gang rebounding. Our again fighting people like a fist and not like a finger." Right now, we have our centers and Jalen trying to rebound as fingers, and we need to help them like a fist. So, with that being said, we have got another game coming up that is a tough one. We play the Cleveland Cavaliers on Wednesday night. That's an ESPN national broadcast game, so it starts at 7 p.m. It's going to be another very difficult matchup. They're very big. We again are missing one of our centers. We have got to gang rebound against those guys, hit them like a fist, come out with the kind of effort and energy that we had tonight, with the connected, defense and the overall ball movement was, improve that a little bit. How we've had for the entire year in terms of ball movement, fix the offense, get it flowing a little bit, keep the defense where it's been, keep the connectivity, and then gang rebound and fight them like a fist. And when we do that, I think we can win both of these games. And I'm not even sure that they'll play all their players. I think most of their playoff seeding is locked in up there at the top. So you may see some shenanigans here at the end of the year, but I will also say it would probably be advantageous to them to beat us in these games so they don't have to play us. If they can try to make it where we're the 6 seed instead of the 5 seed, then they wouldn't get us in the playoffs, and you would miss having to play one of the hottest teams in basketball. So they might play everybody because there might be some playoff implications for them. I am still hoping that we're able to get the 5 seed. I'll do a little standings check now. As of the end of the night's proceedings, the Hawks are in the 5 seed. We're a game and a half ahead of Toronto, who's in the 6 seed. And yes, it looks like the majority of the standings at the top are locked. So, with that being said, please like, comment, subscribe here on the podcast. Thank you for the continued support. Hit me up on all the socials at Atlanta Sports District with any of your thoughts, comments, and concerns about the things I've said today. And I hope that we continue to have this fight. I hope that we continue to have this fervor. I hope that we learn to rebound as a team. And above everything else, I hope you have a great day.